Okay, today I am running the Dark Star build. It's called Dark Star because it beams out heavy attacks with 3k plus more damage. 3 plus whatever crit you get and other things to do it. I had to overdub a previous video of this because I lost some audio on it, so I don't want it to have blank spots in the thing. So initially I was showing how the build works. It's based off Hack the Monitor's build. Let me say real quick, the Shockmaster build by Hack the Monitor, where he has a monster weapon, Undaunted Weaver, and Noble Duelist. I'll replace Undaunted Weaver for reasons I'll talk about later. I'll replace the monster weapon, which is the smallest damage component of that, with putting both sets on each bar, so it takes 8 pieces to work the Undaunted Weaver and the Noble Duelist. This allows me 3 things. It allows me to get the trainee bonuses for pools of health and magicka to maximize shields. It allows me to put a mythic item on a Thrassian Strangler, and it allows me to have a heavy armor side of this where I drop a set and maximize our sustain. So it allowed a lot of things. So let me go switch back over to the comments I had in this, but I just want to give a quick intro of this. In the beginning I'll be showing the Thrassian Strangler super offensive mode, and then we can take off the Thrassian Stranglers, and we're less offensive, but we're less squishy. By wearing Thrassian Stranglers, it'll take your shields and health down about 15k. And then I'll build a defensive set for running vet content, the harder final bosses. So I'm going to turn the mute off and just switch over to the dubbing on this. I probably had a precise trait on it, and I changed it to infused. So my crit was at 50%, and okay, so that gives me 1600 on the heavy attack, and then when I switch to the front bar and get next to him, I'll get another 1800. Yeah, and then I can put weakness to elements on it, and it'll just melt them. And then and see my health got down there. So you can make that mistake on this fight, but if you got lots of mobs shooting you from all directions, like some of the dungeons. I'm used to running this on about a 25 to 30k health Stam Sorc with Quick Surge and Hurricane and Bow and Great Sword Brawler, and about 35k. I can run it hybrid, or I can run it. I've got some hybrid builds, but I'm not sure the hybrids are more effective than just a pure Stam, other than. Might be. But anyway, yeah, so we wiped that out pretty quick. That was pretty quick. So I was pretty happy with that. So now I'm going to go hopefully back. Let's see. I wish this thing. Okay, we're at 23 minutes. So here, yeah, I go over. I told you need to put points in Bastion on the red tree. You give up points in other places to get in Bastion. Give up healing. Give up. You need a lot. I like to put a lot of points in Bastion. Maybe it might be better. Maybe it'd be better for her to take a little out of Bastion and put him into some healing. But I don't know. It just doesn't really. Some of my builds have stuff like that heal the pet. It's not so hard healing myself. I have plenty healing. But when the pet dies, you got that 2-second cast. So if you remember when you swap bars to put a pet, you can get that pet heal instantly, and you don't need it so much for yourself. You need it for the pet, because if he dies, then you need it. It's not there, but that's that block. As long as you do a block, you got a 5k shield. If it's a tough fight, you can wear the Ice Heart. So yeah, I've lost. I wanted to, I'm showing that, yeah, there's a concentrated barrier for a 5k shield. Race against time, see? That's serving that is a good skill. If you know, you can trade one ultimate for that undo, and then this race against time, it gives minor force. So I'll use this. This will sometimes I'll use this on my stand build. I'll be slightly hybrid and have enough magicka to use this. It's a little bit harder. You have to get a little. You got to hybridize more. You can't do that minor force every rotation because it'll be too much magicka unless you really hybridize. But it'll give you minor force, movement speed. So you will use it. You know, that's one way I did my when I soloed. When I got in trouble, I would hit the movement speed. Run across gives me time to reapply everything and kind of reset. So yeah, so that's a good skill. So the three things and all snares and immunity. So there, and then temporal guard. After you take the first morph of it, it gives you minor protection. So when you get on this bar, you're more tanky. So if you got stamina, you could block and stuff. You know, especially on heavy armor. We'll see later when I put about. You know, I've got. Right now, I've got all light with I'm putting in my monster sets, a heavy helmet and a medium to get the Undaunted passes. If you don't have the Undaunted passes yet, then I would either go both heavy or both light, depending on if you want damage. You know, you get if you don't really need magicka regen. If you're gonna do all this health, I've not ran into. I think maybe one fight they had me so busy I wasn't heavy attacking a lot, but you know, with practice, you really don't need it because I've only got like 700, 600 magicka regen. I tried it with Beekeeper. Replace that the least damage one. See, this is with the Maelstrom staff. His basic build was Noble Duelist. That's the last name of it. Noble Duelist, which when you get in melee range will give you 1800 heavy attack damage. Maelstrom weapon will give you 1300 heavy attack damage. And Undaunted Weaver will give you 1600. So these two here are going to give you 18 and 16. They're going to give you 3300. You add on the Maelstrom, and that's 4600. So the Maelstrom was the easiest to drop, and also the Maelstrom. For me, you know, I'm losing being able to wear two trainees, and two trainees will give you 2000 magicka, 2000 health, and 500 stamina. So, or with no pants, it'll give you 1000 of that and a little bit of stamina. So, well, and it gives you the option to wear a mythic item. More testing. You know, I thought, okay, the speed. I've tested the mythic speed ring. I have that on the main server. I don't have the ring or the pendant of torque tonal consistency. I'm not sure the name, but what it basically does is when your stamina is below 50%, boost your magicka recovery, and when your magicka is below 50%, boost your stamina recovery. So it's one more thing to keep track of, but it is a good sustain. It'll boost it by, I think it's 500. I'll have to look at it, but okay, we're going into championship points here. So I want to, okay, so Bastion. Get the points in Bastion to get a big shield. Now, you know, if you see you're being magicka limited, you can take them out of it because it's not helping you. If you see you're being health limited, what this does is your magicka somewhere around 40% will determine. Somewhere around 40%. I've seen it as low as 40 and as high as 47% of my magicka. So it must be Bastion affecting that. So, yeah, and this thing I seem to be health limited a lot. So that would make sense. So get a lot of points in Bastion. We might be able to use less, but and if you're not doing that, I usually put them into healing getting a quick recovery. And some of, I put less in hardy and elemental defender because I was getting them than I normally would. I usually, what I do is I just put points in until I'm starting to put so many. I have to put 6 in, and I say, it's not going to help me that much if I got to put 8 points into this to get to the next percent. Because I'll say it again, in ESO, if your thing says 15% or it says 15.9%, they count the same as 15%. So put points in until you get as close to an even integer. I'd usually put more points in here. I usually put more points in ironclad. So that's part of why it's kind of squishy. It's shield dependent. So if you want to be less shield, he said in his build, I believe you want to get the exploiter here, which for off balance people gives 10% more damage. So I'm showing the key ways to modify your championship points. And now if you're a 300 build, maybe you just can't get, if you're 300, 100, 300, you just can't. If you can't get this right here, this is I think it's 75 points, then don't put all those points over here. This is only to get this buff here. I mean, it helps. I've got some damage over. I guess the only damage over time effect I'm using is a wall of elements. Let me think about this. But it's giving me that exploiter too. So, I mean, if I'm doing if I replace the weakness to elements, the I forgot the name of it, but it's a destruction staff thing, and it returns magicka. Yeah, if you're popping that, it's hard to run out of magicka. And you're heavy attacking. Okay, this is the only time you'd put points in staff, and there's a physical stamina equivalent to this, but get it. I got this to max and then brought a few points out. So yeah, and the only reason I put them all in is the rest of them are stamina traits. Now I'm not doing any stamina damage except for maybe some of them might have helped my hurricane damage, but maybe I could piddle with it and play with it, but I don't. I usually just do what I think will work, and then I test it a little, but I don't write down numbers and try 2 different things and see that this is. I mean, I have an idea of what they're doing, so I know. But what I'm saying is over here, I guess it would have helped the hurricane a little bit. But hurricane may be a damage over time effect too. No, I don't think it is. I think. If I took some points out, I would like more in Elfborn. I am crit. I didn't realize my crit would be so high with this. And it went down when I changed those weapons to infuse to precise. So maybe that's what thing. And get a little in elemental damage. I would have had more points in Elfborn and elemental damage, but you need enough points over here to hit spell precision. It'll boost your crit 9%. Normally I put some more points in bless for the healing. It helps your crit healing, I believe, or maybe just healing in general. And then on this tree, since I didn't have to get a lot of regens, I put a lot of points in block. So I've got 17% block. Normally I've got like 30 points in tenacity. It's not too high. And one of these has got 60 points in it. If it's a hybrid build, I'm struggling to get it on a little on the other side to help. But here I had extra points. I mean, so I think I had extra points on this because I put stuff in healthy. Why would I put things in healthy? Let's see if we can get back to where we were on that. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so let's get the points in Bastion over here. You could maybe take a few out of Bastion. You can do calculations and see if your health limited at 60%. If the number's not exactly, if you're shielded in 60% of, if your shield is less than 60% of your health, then points in Bastion and more magicka will help you. Once you hit that 60%, neither more magicka or Bastion is going to help you. So, yeah, so what I was thinking is precise strikes Do I really care if I get a little crit off a hurricane? You know, it might be good to move the points over here, and then that might be an improvement. Because hurricane is a... See which one of these is direct damage, and then get enough points in here to hit the one. Yeah, this is what we're going for, but I think perfect strikes. If you get 30 points, we've already got that. Maybe it's in the noise level. You could put one, or you could get 2 points would get you 1% on your when you crit on a hurricane, but and maybe do it, put 1 or 2, don't. Sometimes I take something in a skill I don't think that'll help me because it only takes 2 points to get to 1%, where it'll getting that from 75. I mean, I'm sure it was 6 points or something. So I could take some points out of there, get it to an even integer, and put them. They would help hurricane. I was thinking I'm not using any stamina abilities, so I won't put any in it. Yeah, normally you wouldn't put any points in either of these, but since we are gonna, unless you were maybe a tank and you're just gonna heavy attack a lot, and a couple points isn't bad, but I mean I put a couple maybe in here, but I would never take this as high. But we're gonna, most of our damage is coming off of heavy attacks, so get a lot of points over here. This tree, and then put the remaining points where this tree, get us what you can out of it. So anyway, yeah, I was gonna go and since so here I've got extra points. I don't know what to do with them. So I got block. I think the next thing it would have taken me 12 points, like it was moving up real slowly at this point, or I would have put them in block. I don't tumble that much now that I'm blocking now. I'm just wondering why I put points in the healthy. Don't know. I guess I felt like I didn't need this, and I felt like I got enough here a little bit, but when I'm blocking, if I'm just holding the block, I'm not got any stamina recovery, so I said, well, put a few in healthy. They're pretty cheap. Yeah, 7 points will get me 3% health. I don't know. But get them in tenacity. The next jump is... And then I put more in Warlord than I normally would, and Bash Focus, because I had more stuff. I could have put some of those in Sprinter 1 or 2, but I don't really need Sprinter now that if I can get that Major Force with that. I mean, when I got Hurricane... if I want to move fast, I can do minor and major expedition with, see if I bet we're going to fight them again. And am I going to remember to take off my pants? I'm trying to show how this does. Well, I guess I may be seeing how it does with pants too. You guys aren't going to be using this build with pants, but yeah, so it's got yeah, we take the pants off, so. And I think we cleared our Malakath stack. Yeah, we cleared our Malakath stack, so it's not helping us. We've now got a bunch of... See, look at all that health I've got. Without pants? My goodness. That is tanky. I mean, yeah, it is light armor, but... 30k of health. That's with the Lord. Because it seems like, I might as well get the free stamina with now. And now, if you're not using the expensive tri-stat enchants, then balance your magicka and health. And then after that, kind of play with it to get that shield size up. Maybe bias it one way, and you're just not going to have a lot of stamina. I would think if you do that, you're going to run out of stamina on tough fights. Well, you can, and then that'll force you. See, the good thing about it is I don't have to run tri-stat food. You know, I can run food that will give me 1,000 more health and magicka. So, and I bet that's a 19k, 18k, 18.7 shield. If my health is that high, it's got to be a big shield. I forgot the health is that high when I'm running the Lord. That's just OP. I mean, if you keep that there's only... If you keep your shield up, you probably won't need to heal much. You may need to a little bit because to keep that dang pet alive, but you shouldn't have to. If you just keep spamming your shield, and then your rotations go to the back bar, at least hit Hurricane, and then go to the front bar and get close to him. And then to optimize that, put down the Wall of Elements from Destruction Staff and hit the Minor Force to get the 10% when you crit, and then hit Weakness Elements. If you run out of magicka, which if you're heavy attacking that much, I don't see how you could. You can get the magicka recovery from it. If it's a tough fight and you're having a hard time getting the heavy attacks in, that Weakness Element will get you back your magicka. I mean, I want to use Mage's Wrath sometimes for an execute, but that weakness element, I may be calling it the wrong name. It morphed. It may have a different name, but I think before it's morphed, it's called Weakness Elements. It's number 4 is what I'm talking about. It makes them take more damage when you put elemental damage on them, which we're putting a lot of shock damage on them. And I'll go over here. I may skip all this because, you know, yeah, I think the next bit of the video, I'm just going in and testing this more. I'm practicing here. I'm practicing, you know, starting up a fight like if I want to kill something fast. It's hit 3, which will give me Minor Force, switch bars, and then hit Hurricane, and then heavy attack them. So we hit the Minor Force, we switch. Okay, yeah, you can put down the elements, but look, see, it's just little overland stuff. It just it disintegrates them, especially when the Lambris kicks in. You know, so I got the Minor Force here, switch bars. I needed Hurricane. That's what I needed. I needed to. So I lost 1,600 heavy attack damage. But if I hit the startup Hurricane, hit the Force. The main thing is start up Hurricane and get close to him and hit him. And then her arms glowing like that. You're getting that bonus. I believe one of the off balance ones that we put those 75 points in. Thermogen to get that, so that's hurting them. I can't see what the names of these are, but I recognize a lot of these. I need to start recognizing. I think her orange arms are one of those off balance things, and then one of them's Minor Force. I don't remember which one. Let's see if we pay attention if something changes when she hits 3. We'll watch this for a second. Okay, she hit Hurricane. See if she puts the Minor Force in, which is 3 on the front bar. Yeah, she hit it. And her arms turned, I think, a different color. Her hands are that gold. That's the Minor Force, I believe. I'm just seeing how I can block here and stuff. Okay, I mean, I think this is just kind of me practicing with it. Here, I've got Minor Force. I've got Hurricane up, and I'm on the front bar. If I'm doing that, they melt. And the Minor Force is the boning on the bonus. I mean, you know, you're gonna crit about 40 to 50% of the time if you're drinking your pots. And so you multiply 40 to 50% times either 50 plus 4 or 50 plus 14 is the difference. So it's either 64 or 54 is the difference in that minor force. Getting that 40% of the time, so that would be about half of that. So the 64, it's approaching 1/3 more damage. 67 will be 1/3 more damage, so it might be worth it to get a round number out of that and put a little more over that. If you're a 800 championship, but this is approaching a 600 I try to keep my PTS builds the same as my main, and my main is getting close to 600. They were at 550. It was about 90 points left over, and then it's 85, and it's now 80 points. This game, you get those championship points so fast. Every time I just go out and test something or something, I just get a ton of championship points. So I would think if you're starting, you could get, your first 100 championship points and your first 300, or you're going to see some big gains in your day. You're going to see, because up to 300, you're getting up to 300 every skill point you put in a tree. 300 total championship is 100 a tree, and every skill point you put in a tree will boost your base. The red tree will boost your health, the green tree will boost your stamina, and the blue tree will boost your magicka. So when you're getting that first 100, all those points, and then the first 100, you just put 2 points in something and you get 1%, 1 or 2 points at the most 3. When I start getting 75 or something, I got to put something's 10 points in it to just get 1%, but 1 or 2 points. So you go out in the afternoon and get 6 points, or 3 points. I mean, you just boosted 3 stats by 1% if you picked the right stats, and you boosted. So that first 100, you spread. You got to put 33 in the tree, so you could probably get some 10 point. There's some good things that when you get 10 points in a thing, it gives you a good buff, and then you could probably if you had 100, you could take 10 things and put 3 points in them and get 1% in 10 places. So the first 100's really good too, and the first 300's where you hit the limit on. Championship points will no longer boost your base health or magicka or anything. That's for you new players out there. Let's skip forward a little bit more, because this is just me doing the same thing. I'll be running up, hitting the minor force, and then hitting hurricane. We'll go in a delve and show how it. I don't know if I should spend the time doing this because it's so overpowered. It's too overpowered for. Yeah, I've got the Thrassain Stranglers on. I see a stack of 2 here. I must have reset it before I went in the delve. So I got 30k of health. We'll see by the end. If I didn't reset my build, we got 5, 6. We don't know our shield size, but it's going to get down to 10k as we build that up. We'll see. 30 seconds. We got 13. See our health going down. Now we've got 21. Our health's down to 28. Now we've got 8. We got 33. So we're about 2/3 of the way there, but it's taken. Let's see her heal. She's down to 26 health. And that shield's going to come down from 16 or 17 or 18 to 10. Skip forward again. Got 39 stacks. Health is down to 26. 47. So at 50 stacks, the health goes. See, that's not too bad. 25k health. She's wearing pants. That's why she's wearing pants. If she wasn't wearing pants, her health would be down 20s, I believe. But I may have switched something to get a little more health. But how could I do it if I use tri-stats? I don't know. Okay. So then, we're gonna skip forward. The only thing about this build is I did notice it was a little squishy. I mean, I know I wouldn't want to do the Lambris fight and some of the veteran content with no pants. It would just be I won't say it can't be done, but it'd just be too much of a pain. It'd be have to play perfect. It is nice to keep Hurricane up. Now, if you're wearing this set, Hurricane gives you 16k of heavy attack damage. So if you get to the front bar, you're gonna get 3,300 of health damage. And then if you hit that minor force, you're gonna that 33. You'll say it increases by 30%. So that would be 300 times 3. Yeah, that'd be about 900 more. So that'd be about that's 4,200. And I don't know how much a heavy attack. I'd imagine it does about 1,000, 2,000 damage. I don't know. That's a pretty big increase. So yeah. So there I'm just getting rid of all my junk. So we'll do a little bit. This is kind of going to be, my goal is, okay, I like this, but I want to be able to switch on the fly to something's more tanky. And I kind of use a little bit of dressing room to show how this is done. Here I'm just opening up sets until I can get Hatchling Shell. I'm thinking I did run on one of my other builds. I ran Winter's Respite, which I believe is overland in Western Skyrim. So you would need Greymoor to get it, but it is overland. But you know, I did run Beekeeper, but it's only health recovery. It's health, but it's only health recovery. And so that's when you want another bar. If I'm gonna put two different sets on my two different bars, I try to pick a skill that when I switch bars is helping me on the other bar. You know, I try not to put a skill that's just something like magicka on that bar or health recovery on that bar. A fifth trait, when I say that, fourth trait, I just figure you're going to lose one fourth trait, but you gain it back. You get two traits when you wear the trainee. And if you got no pants, you get one trait. And if you wear a mythic item, it just gives you the ability to do that. You couldn't wear that mythic item if you weren't separate barring it. And I've been writing in dressing room bar 1, bar 2 for the set. If it's a set that only works on that bar. So like, let's pause it. This is a key point. You know, if this is Undaunted Weaver, then once I hit the Hurricane, it's procced. And I got 10 seconds or 8 seconds or whatever it is, of 1,600. So I can switch bars and it's still helping me. And then this bar, I can only, as long as I only do my main attacks on the front bar, I guess I can't switch that back, but I don't need it on two bars. I can control which bar I'm doing my main attacks on, you know. So I try to get it so it works well. And by, you know, one bar, you know, these are two different sets. This one completes with the jewelry. Where you complete it doesn't matter, except sometimes you want to get heavy armor. But if they're both light sets, there's no place to put heavy armor other than getting your two Undaunteds here. And then the tri-stats, I try to tri-stat it if I think the stamina is going to help me, which I do. You know, I probably, if it was something, if I don't need the third, you know, if I'm a stamina based, and I don't think the health's going to help me, or if I'm, you know, one of the big reasons I want so much health is to give me double benefits. It's giving me a health benefit, and it's giving me a shield. If I'm at the shield limit, then it's helping me there. So, you know, on a stamina build where I wasn't running a Hardened Ward, I'd get the health up to 25 to 30. And then after that, I'd say I don't need the health. So then I'd be looking at, or if it's hybrid, I probably want the magicka. But if it wasn't hybrid, I could probably, without using tri-stats, I probably wouldn't need that much magicka. You know, maybe I say, well, if I use the tri-stats, I'll get the magicka, and I can keep that minor force up, you know, with the race. Well, I forgot what it's called, but it's number 3 on the front bar. So anyway, so my goal here is to get rid of this light armor. Let's see, now that's a heavy piece. I think I switched to my beekeeper set. I did have a beekeeper set that was heavy armor, but I didn't like it because beekeeper gives you a ton of health, but it gives you 1,000 health recovery, which is okay, but it's only going to work on one bar. So, and it's going to work on the back bar, and I'm trying to make the front bar. Well, there wasn't a way to make the front bar tanky, so that's my attack bar. But so I guess I don't know. So I tried 2 different things. So we'll kind of talk about this here. So I'm going to unpack Hatchling Shell, which gives you a 22% of your health when you 20%. It gives you a shield on every 15 seconds, I believe. If the cooldown was better, I'd like it better. Of 22% of your health, which is about 7k with how much health I got. Got Hatchling Shell, and I got Beekeeper, and maybe there's one other decent, but none of them I'm real happy with. The Hatchling Shell's okay. It does carry over the other bar that shield does, but when you think about it, a shield when I was testing it in other builds, it's okay, and it's a good burst shield, but it's not. I'd probably rather have a 2k heal every second, because 7k shield over 15 seconds, that's 500 of shielding a second is basically what it comes down to be. So, and I'm not getting too much health with that. I'm going to lose that health trait when I'm not on that bar. It is going to give me a lot of armor. That's going to help me. Okay, it's 24% of your max health. I'm misquoted. So it's approaching 1/4. So I made a set with this real quick, and then I just decided I wasn't that happy with it. So I'll spend some time unpacking it. What I'm basically going to have to do is unpack some things to change the traits, which would be a little bit harder for me to change traits, but I'd probably get the traits right in the first place. They seem to put divines on all gear and precise on all weapons. So I'm going to put, since it's a back bar, I'm going to put infused trait on it. And I'm going to this, if you've not used the PTS, if I had audience, this thing will give you, it'll max that out, and it'll put up, you can do it infinitely, but you can only hold 200 transmute crystals, and you can only use 4 at a time. So I'm if I got a chest and leg pieces, I'm going to try to get infused on it. It'll have divines on it. And then if I've got a weapon, it's going to have precise on it. And so I'm kind of checking all my weapons here. So I'm basically going to build a Hatchling Shell set. And you see that shield, it's helpful. It's a burst shield. So it is, that'll be your 5th shield. You got your Hardened Ward, that'll be your 4th shield. If you're wearing Ice Heart, and you're doing the Undaunted like I do it, you got 3 shields. Ice Heart, the Sigic Order, and then your Hardened Ward. So that gives you a 4th shield. And it's a 7k shield. So, it'll fill up your shields. And maybe, but I believe it's on I'll go back to it, but the cooldown's too long on it for how big it is. If it was bigger or had a less of a cooldown, it'd be better. But I'm thinking, it's a burst. It'll help you burst in an emergency burst, but it's not really, if you're behind the 8 ball with the content on healing, shielding, health recovery, whatever, on the sustain side, on the health sustain, on living, then it'll help you if you make a mistake, but it's not going to help you if you're at the point where you have to do everything perfect. I don't like being at the point where I got to play perfect. I like it better when I can make a few mistakes and it forgives me. And I was actually finding in this boss fight, we'll watch it. I bet it's one of the fastest ones I've ever done. Because it was so easy. I could keep, you know, there's, if you're statted such that your health sustain is so, it's just done not to one-shot you when you're playing perfect. You're going to spend so much time healing and if you do make a mistake, getting things back, that you're just going to screw up your rotation in terrible ways. And so there's something to be said for leaving some room for mistakes. And then, and these fights are long enough, you don't want to get to the end and die. So you want some margin. You don't want to redo this fight. You know, I mean, it's 15 to 30 minutes for me to kill Athor, usually. I think the fastest I've done is 15 minutes. And some fights I notice is approaching 30. Final boss isn't too bad because I've only died once. You really have to not pay attention and forget about you just got to die to the final boss, you have to completely stop watching your health and shield bar. And then even if you stay on the outside, it's a kind of a pain because the wall blocks your view and stuff. But if you stay out there, he's not going to do a lot of damage to it. And if you just move when he throws out Rolling Thunder, you really have to not pay attention to anything. So yeah, so I build a hatchling shell thing here. I'm going to get through this fast because this video is going to be too long. So here I'm just playing in the PTS and getting infused on all my weapons that I see extra in there. So I'm thinking this hatchling shell, which I've talked about, I'm just not that happy with it. I don't think it's going to help me that much. It's going to give me some armor, and I'm going to trade some magicka for that armor. So here, okay, so I'm going to go in some tricks in, you can give these things names. You can save your gear on the shield part. You can save your skills over here. You can so you can do two tricks with it. If you just if you take off all your gear and just put on the Ice Heart set, then when you click this, it'll replace what you have on with the Ice Heart set. So that's one thing. I could have taken all the skills off here and just put this right here on, and I called it solo. You know, let's say I want to have there I was starting with AoE right there. I could just put that skill on, and when I click this, it'll replace that. Basically, the way it is, you click it, it puts the gear on. You shift click it, it saves to it. If you control click it, it'll clear it, but I can't do that because in my ESO I have assigned control to turn the cursor on. Allows me to switch between applications, and it's just something I'm using in all games to go between the mouse controlling me moving and the mouse bringing up a cursor. And he's hard-coded control this to delete, so whenever I hit control, it switches out of the add-on. So for me to clear something, I have to just take it off and clear it manually. This is just naming conventions, but I'm starting to distinguish between things that are 1 bar, 2 barring it, like the Beekeeper here works on all bars. The Undaunted Weaver works on all bars, but Noble, I've already forgotten this. Duelist and Maelstrom Weapon only work on these bars, bar 1 and bar 2. So anyway, so that's just some tricks of dressing room. It comes in real handy. You know, you could use that and set up variations in your build. I wanted something that could go from very tanky to very offensive, and this is doing that perfectly. The only downside is I did have to use one piece of dungeon gear when we get to the end. See, so I'm going to make I'm not really using this one here. I changed this to add some different monster helms, and then just make this a little bit faster. Then I said I don't have enough space here to add all the sets, so you can add more columns with it. So we'll see me do that. So that's the hatchling. So I'm saying I gotta find something that's helped me on that back bar more. Just a 7k shield every 15 seconds, just not that much. That's not helping that much. So I decide Crimson Twilight. What I wanted to get was Winter's Respite, because that's a 2k heal every second. It puts down a big circle. If you stay in that circle of frozen stuff, you get a 2500 heal a second, and your friends get it, and the pet gets it, so the pet quits dying. But that was light armor, and one of the goals was to get some heavy on. After taking damage, you surround yourself with 8 meters of mist. After 2 seconds, so after you switch to that bar with that gear on it, in 2 seconds, it puts out the mist. I switch the bar, I can come back. The mist is already out. The mist is violently siphoned into your body, dealing 10k damage to everybody around me and healing me for 100% of the damage done. It's a bleed, so it's going to happen over time, but I don't know. I was not dying when I was wearing this stuff. Content was easy. My DPS, I had to trade 1600 on my heavy attack to get this, but so that seemed like it'd fill the bill. The only problem is it said we'll have to go do the Castle Thorn dungeon. But I saw if I believe when this Stonethorn's released, there's going to be a Castle Thorn dungeon. It's either going to be free to everybody or it's going to be free to ESO members. I don't know if that's how, or if this is one of the free DLCs or what, but I keep an ESO Plus going, so I could go, and I was watching, it looked easy enough that I could go in and just, maybe I couldn't do the final boss, but I could get enough of this. I need to get a weapon somewhere, so I would have to do the final boss to get the weapon. Well, I can watch, if he can solo it, I can, so, well, he can solo Mouse from Vet easily, and I can do Mouse from non-Vet fairly easily. Mouse from Vet is a challenge, but this was back when soloing Vet dungeons was a challenge for me. I hadn't been to Mouse from in 2 years, because I'm finding I don't really want the Mouse from weapons aren't gonna. They break up my set. I'd rather find the best set and do it. But there may be a case somewhere. I've been playing with Mouse from weapons here. But anyway, okay. So we'll watch us build this set here. So I think I'm going to have to unpack the sets. Okay. So I'm thinking we're going to put something here. And in my mind I'm thinking we'll put the Hatchling here and we'll put the Crimson Twilight here and just compare them. So we'll skip forward. I've already changes. This set, his build, he had Maelstrom. I decided we're going to be better to double bar it than no Maelstrom. And then when we double bar it, we could even add the Thresions. And I'll just manually take the pants off. If I want to add more spaces, I can save no pants, where I just don't put pants in the gear. So we'll fast forward here. Okay. So I've got this set up. So this set's going to be, both of them are going to have on the front bar Noble Duelist, which when you get melee range is going to give you 1800 heavy attack damage. They gave up the Undaunted Weaver, which gives you 1600 heavy attack damage when you use the stamina ability on the back bar. So we are going to hurt our DPS, but we are going to gain, this one will gain the big shield every time we're on it. It's not that, it just looks big, but it's only a 7k shield, and its refresh is too slow. Or if we want to go do a dungeon, and maybe I'll find an overland set or an easy dungeon that's got something, but for right now this will work to test. This is a Crimson Twilight, and it's going to give us a nice big heal. And we'll just go test them. And so then I decide I don't have a space on this, so you can, so I'm unpacking all the Crimson Twilight. and I'm going to skip over the going to here and making enchants. You know, I'm making, as I do it, I'm putting prismatic enchants on it. The other thing about prismatic enchants is you just know you're getting your best stats. If you're going to use all three stats, you can sit there and play forever making health and magicka and moving it back and forth here and there. And you have choices, you know, and then say, I want to buy it towards it. But here you just put this down. Because basically, if you have a health enchant on the same type of piece, either major or minor, and by major I mean head, chest, and legs give the same enchant, and then about a third of that will go on minor pieces of shoulders, gloves, belt, and shoes. And so if you are splitting it between two traits, health, and health does add 10% more, but we'll call it splitting. If you're splitting it between health and magicka, you, instead of putting a health on one and a magic on the other, you can put two prismatics on it, and you get half on each, and you also get the third trait stamina for free. So that's why, you know, if you, there's guides on how to go farm them. I'm just buying it. You know, I make enough money off rights that I can, and I'm just being careful what I put it on if it's a build I'm going to use. But it'd be about 7 times. It's going to be 7 times 15 if you look real carefully for it, which is 6 times 15 is 90k. So that's about 105 to 20 times 15. If you just go buy it real quick, 140. It'll be beyond the scope of this video, but I'll do another one on how to use, how to buy stuff, how to find the best deals quickly. So yeah, so let's skip forward. I'm just making enchants. Let's see if we can get to where I'm. Okay, so now we're starting to do something. I wish there was a way to move this cursor forward just a little bit. I don't want to go 30. Okay, so yeah, so I'm enchanting that. So we'll just play it for a second. Okay, so I got my prismatic enchants on it. I think we're just about done here. Okay, spell crit's gone down because we're wearing heavy, but my health has gone way up, and I'm not sure if I'm finished doing this. Let's watch. Let's see, did I'm still enchanting it. Okay. I wanted to see when we showed the physical. See, now we're in the before we even use hurricane, we're in the 20 to 22 range, and we're giving up some magicka to do this, but we've got a tri-stat on those beekeepers, which I shouldn't be wearing. I wonder if I just looked at. Okay, let's skip forward. I think I'm still building it. Okay. See, I still got. See, I'm seeing some for some reason putting beekeeper on me. So, you have to save it after you change the stuff. So now, see, hatchling shell. Yeah, that's a damp, but it's every 15 seconds. Curse of the trainee. So I'm wearing Curse, which I want to be wearing. So see, what I'm saying is, right now trainee is a 5-piece set. That is a typical set. You need 2 items to get a benefit. But trainee is changing to a 3. The first item adds a benefit. The second item adds a benefit. So maybe if you're on a stand build, either you don't need health, but I think you always need health, because that health can replace a health enchant somewhere. and if you don't have a health enchant, it can replace an attribute of health. And the only people who couldn't benefit from health, it replaced something else that you can now put a magicka enchant on it. You know, first, most people are playing, like I'm playing a Nord, they're not optimal for magicka. So I'm probably want magicka. Yeah, I'm the first person that wouldn't need health because I'm not a high elf. But even if you're a high elf, I mean, now you're starting to get kind of squishy. So unless you're geared to only be able to do 4-man content with a good healer and not do anything else, which may be your deal. You only play with your friends and your healer friend, and you like to be squishy because you know your friend's going to keep you healed up, and the tank's going to always keep the monsters off you, and you like being dependent on other people, and you don't solo content. But I would think a high elf is going to have to either put magicka on their enchants or or their attributes. They're not going to put all 64 points in magicka. See, I can just put all 64. Being a Nord, I'll put all 64 points in magicka. Even when I start out putting 54, and when I'm building it, I always end up 64 points in magicka. But I could shift some over here if I feel like I'm hitting that shield limit. But anyway, I'm getting back to the point. Is that I think even if you're a high elf, you know, you're going to have offensive gear, so it's not going to have health enchant. So by double barring this, it lets me wear 2 trainees, and that health is usually critical. I'm saying you're going to put a health somewhere, or you're going to put the tri-stat, which puts health somewhere. Or I think your health's going to be so low you're in one-shot range. You know, if you're on the high elf or the Breton or somebody gets snow, who's got on the magicka side, they have all their benefits are magicka, and if on the stam side, you got your red guards, probably the most offensive class. Maybe Khajiit with their I've just started playing Khajiit. I've never played a Orc. They have some. And then, of course, I like Wood Elf because they're kind of like the Breton of stamina. They have lots of regen, too. You know, so regen, if you got regen, you don't have to heavy attack. And the magicka side, I'm finding heavy attacks aren't that... I mean, this one's geared, but even if it's not a build for heavy attacks. But anyway, okay. So we've gone into that. I'm kind of digressing into another point, so somewhere I'm going to start testing this thing. Okay. So then I decide, okay, this is for tanking. So I'm going to put on the back bar, I'm going to put a shield up. Maybe that's why this is so god-awful tanky. Because I put that, I made those enchants. We'll go back to it. This is kind of critical. Well, if you're a beginner. I guess you know. Okay, Glyph of Hardening. Grants, and if this is infused, it's going to get more, 25% more, so you can get a 5,000 point damage shield up. So I guess instead of what's the word out after quadruple? Pentuple. You know, if we wore hatchling shell, we would have the we'd have 4 shields, and now since I'm putting on the back bar shields, we'd have our Hardened Ward, our Sigic Order, our Ice Heart. We're going to wear Ice Heart if it's tough con. So there's 3. Hatchling Shell adds 4, and then I put on both back bars Hardened. So there's a 5th shield. So with Hatchling, we're pentupling it in shielding. We're shield stacking 5 times, but some of them are small shield. I mean, 5K shields that last for limited durations. So that's the hatchling, I can tell, because it's that's that blue shield around her. So see, Ice Heart. I'm not happy with that. So she's got her pants on, so she's got good stats. So I wanted to switch to Lambris so I wouldn't get confused about which shield's up. But I normally would, if I'm going to run this tanky gear, I'm probably going to wear Ice Heart. But I just want to see the shield come up. And I want to see what this thing is. That shield has hatchling shell, yeah. So I was just seeing, I'm trying to see that that back bar shield. Did I take the hatchling off to figure out when to batch bar? Okay. I'm just playing around to see how much that back bar shield's helping me. And I said I'll try it out. So you don't need to see everything at testing that I'm doing. So now I'll put on the, I believe I'll put the Ice Heart on now. Yeah, I still got Lambris on so I can see my shields. I've got, okay, so I do add Ice Heart. Well, I'm not sure these are starting out Ice Heart. I want them to start. I renamed it. These are heavy sets, so they need to put on Ice Heart. Okay, let's go forward. I've already explained that. I'm just putting the word tank here. So you can do that with this. That's what I'm saying. You know, this dressing room. You know, let's don't get into too much deal, but you can build multiple sets for one build. You keep the same. You can't, if you're in a dungeon or somewhere, you got to come back to somewhere to change your Mundus Stone, and you got to go somewhere to change your attribute points. But other than that, you can be swapping in and out gear and weapons, and you could do things like, you know, want crit damage. You could even be switching weapon traits. You know, I'm really just switching a few pieces of gear. I'm usually got monster over here. Got this. I'll fill out the rest here, but you know, and then trainee and up. But I wouldn't be, you know, right now for you guys, not when, and Stonethorn's going to be out real close, so you know it's no longer like in the far future. But and I think trainee's just going to change, and that drops. Trainee drops in all the starter zones, like those little islands with 3 sky shards. I forgot the name of them. The one island with the snow all over it, in Ebonheart Pact, and then another little island over. It's the first place you go, the first quest. I know the only reason I go there on alt character. I did that so long ago, I can't remember, but alts go there to get the sky shards. But so as you can farm those like in no time, pick up the trainee set. And trainee's going to change where it can fill in odd spots and get a benefit, because it's 1 item is 1 trait, 2 items is 2 traits, and I went into that earlier, so we're not going to keep talking about that. So you can use this dressing room add-on to switch things on the fly, both skills and gear, and you can clear everything out and save it, and then add 1 piece of gear, and it'll just add that piece of gear. And you know, here, and you can expand it to be 4 columns and 6 rows, I believe. It starts getting small. I mean, you don't have to make it small, but I want to be able to see my equipment over here. And you can bring it up. You can hotkey it to something. And then if you hit your inventory, your inventory will show over here. If you bring up your skills, it'll show. Now if you've got it so many columns and the font's so big, it's going to cover them up where you can't see it. So I'm trying to keep it so it's can be seen. I probably need to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so I'm just testing out what I think. Let's go watch me do one last monster. I've set it up so in summary, I've kind of taken his build. It was basically it was a Sorc with he took off the front bar, a spammable, and he just heavy attacks with it, and he had the typical back bar spammables, you know, area on your back bar. You put down your area and put up crit surge and do things like that, and put up. He had hurricane on it, No, he had the magicka morph of Hurricane, and then he took Trap Beast. And Trap Beast may be kind of expensive. I don't know why he did that. He said I need enough stamina to be able to use that. But I went another route. I didn't put Trap Beast on it. I put on Hurricane. I took the stamina morph. So that'll kick in the Undaunted Weaver. Undaunted Weaver on the back bar needs the stamina ability. And he had the Maelstrom weapon. Yeah, he had that in effect all the time. I would have swapped. If I was to keep his same methodology of having a Maelstrom weapon and have one up all the time and one up part of the time, I probably would have put Hurricane on the front bar and had that on, because you can only pop it on one bar, so that doesn't need to be at all the time. And then I would have put Noble Duelist as wearing all 5 pieces, so I could hit him. So if you want to go that way with a Maelstrom weapon and get 1,300 more heavy attack damage, I already decided I want to give up the Maelstrom weapon. But if you want to go that direction, I probably swap those two, put Hurricane on the front bar, balance your ultimates here, so you always have a Sigil Order on each bar. But you might feel like you just want that on one bar. The Sigil Order is definitely a burst thing for me. It it's just a 5k shield, but it's an extra shield. So and it just works when you block. So if you just block for a second. So I think we're gonna fight it, and we'll see during the fight which set we're using. I'll be able to tell. Okay, that mist, that red mist is gonna do 8k. No, it's 10k bleed damage to everything. It's gonna give me a minor heal over time of 10k, and I think it took 2 seconds to come out, and it had a 8-second cooldown, so that's not too bad. That's 8 over 10. No, 10 over 8. 10k of healing over 8 seconds is 1.25 healing, 1,200 healing, which health recovery is every 2 seconds. So 1,200 healing would be I think that's a 600 health recovery. No, I think that's a 1,200. I think that's a twice health. Yeah, if it says 100 health recovery, it's doing 50 of healing a second. So if we're getting, that's like 2,400 health recovery. Yeah, that's 2,500 health recovery. That's a ton. Because stamina, magicka, and health recovery, when you see that stat, I don't know why they don't rank it for every second, but it's every 2 seconds. So if you see 100 health recovery, you're only getting 50 a second. Okay, so there's a little heal. So I don't have to. The only healing I got to do for that pet is if I make a huge mistake, I have to use a pet to heal, and I got to heal sometimes or keep the pet shielded to keep them alive. And I didn't read this carefully enough. It would be nice if it healed you and your friends, then it keep the freaking pet alive. But and if you can wear light armor, one of the goals of this was to get some heavy on me. But if your other set was heavy, then you could work that into what you're wearing, and you want to be tanky. And that Winter's Respite is 2.5k a second. It's even better. It's even more healing. But you have to stay in the circle. This, you don't have to stay in the whatever. It's a big circle. Winter's Respite circle is almost as big as Hurricane. But, I'm just, here I'm just standing there seeing if they can hurt me. Like I've got the extra armor now, and stuff. So I almost died there, but it takes a lot. I'm not blocking. I'm just letting them hit me. So watch this for a second. We'll see how tanky it is. We'll watch this fight, and then we'll go do Crypt of Hearts. I'm sorry this video is so long, but I'm really proud of this build. I've got another build of my main Maya that I made in 4 parts, and I find out there's no way in Windows to join 4 videos together, MAPEGs, and there's no way without buying a commercial piece of software, which is going to be about $50 to $100, $40 to $25 to $100 depending on. So I want to read some reviews, and one of them I bought for a year, and I wasn't that impressed. Is $40 a year, and it's $70 for a full permanent trait that I'll probably lose a code, so it won't be permanent. So I'm just hesitant to buy software just to put something up on YouTube. And I'm from a Mac background, so that software came free with the that came free with the, and Windows used to have something that could combine it, but for some reason they took that functionality out. I'm not a big fan of Windows. It's just I'm a big fan of how much Windows hardware costs. And I'm not a big fan of A, the latest direction of Macintosh, and B, their hardware is just so overpriced for what you're getting that any operating system advantages it had, and their operating systems also, it's starting to add in features you don't need, and it's just changing to make you upgrade. I mean, it's a better operating system, but I don't think it's the old Mac. The last time I looked at the changes to the, I hadn't had a Mac for 3 years it's running. And I used to only have Mac laptops. It was 2000 I started switching to Windows. I'll say Windows hardware to non-Mac hardware that could run Unix or anything. But okay, so this isn't a computer. Okay, so see, she's staying healed. She's not even paying attention to shielding up or anything. Okay, so we could be trying to, I don't want to test the DPS here. I'm just seeing how tanky she is. Do I think this is tanky enough? And I'm concluding yes. And so you can see how tanky she is. Which is on that back bar. She's also got that Undaunted skill as an ultimate. Gives her 8% damage, minor toughness or something. And that's 8% less damage. Now her resistances are up from 15 to 22. I think they max somewhere around 30. If she throws out Hurricane, she's getting pretty close to the max resistance you can get. And if she blocks, I bet she's knocking off 50% damage. I don't know. So yeah, so it worked. So I think I'm gonna go skip forward. You probably see me. Yeah, so I'm switching over to Crypt of Hearts here. We're gonna go take it on. So we spent an hour and 30. I skipped through some of it. So we're gonna have an hour and 30, but I'll skip through the first fight because I'll just get to where the game cheated me again. I got through the hardest part of a fight, and then it just reset the bosses. So this is the hardest mini boss for me in magicka builds. Stamina builds, I never paid much attention. I guess I'm using crit surge on stamina builds, and I'm tanky enough to do hard content. So this fight never seemed like, lots of ads, something about swinging brawler and having crit surge up. I've got enough healing that just things aren't going to bother me, but something about having to pop a shield and light armor, these things can get kind of tough. So I think I'm saying, can I do this? I've got Ice Heart on, I can tell by my shoulders, and I think I'm going to try to do it. Let's see what I'm in. Let's make sure we know what we're in. Well, if we just come in, we're probably in the same. We're probably in that same. Yeah. We're in that same heavy stuff we were in. We're in that heavy stuff. If I show stats, which I'm not showing stats, but we switched over to Ice Heart, and I bet we're still. I think we're still in that heavy. We'll be able to tell by the damage done. And if you see me trying to put Hurricane, I think my thought was A, see how it does with this first thing, and B, the first boss is tough for me. Let's see how it does with this. So, yeah. So, and here, of course, we're over tough, but I want to make sure I can do some damage with it, and I seem to be able to do some damage, and, you know, I have died here when I hadn't paid attention, because there are a lot of ads hitting you from all directions until you can get them wiped down. So, this is no problem at all. You see my health bar up? It's just not even being touched. And she doesn't have pants on, which is good. Now, so I'm just standing in the pink, but maybe that's why I die. But and now you can hit that when you get slowed, snared. You hit number 3 and it takes the snare off. So that's the third purpose of that number 3. 1 is to move fast, 2 is to remove snares, and 3, it gives you that block with the shield. So yeah. So now I'm going to just see how tough it is. Now that I only got 2 ads, you know, hitting me. This is a vet dungeon. It's not a normal dungeon, so. Now, Crypt of Heart's in one of the harder dungeons, but it's a good place to learn, you know. The last fight will make you learn to block. Because I'm, even this build I did notice with this on, if Athor knocks me down, it's going to do so little damage. I don't know if I was even in danger of getting killed. I guess I was in danger of getting knocked down and just completely losing everything and not putting up a shield and then hit with Rolling Thunder. But I seem to be able to step in bad places, get knocked down, get hit with Rolling. I could heal through the Rolling Thunder. It wasn't even normally Rolling Thunder, which is when he puts out a flame. When he just puts out one flame from the center, it's Rolling Thunder. When he puts out a spoke of flames, it's not Rolling Thunder. But Rolling Thunder does do a lot of damage, and I think the longer you're in it, it does a damage per second. And if you're DPS, you need to block it and move, or you're going to die. I don't know. I've never. It's been so long since I've done this one at a vet level with a 4-man group. I went out the other day with a 4-man group doing normals. I didn't want to do vet, and it seemed like a waste. I mean, we did it fast. We just flew through stuff. I don't know why they're even bothering to do it. I guess they were farming gear, but because the content's so easy, it's boring. For me, normal dungeons I can do them. If I was to go solo, this normal would be so easy that there's just no Well, to get Undaunted keys, I would do it. Yeah, they were probably doing their daily pledges, so I would do that. But, so I'm still in the low DPS. I've lost half my heavy attack DPS, and maybe I've lost some magicka. I don't know. Yeah, I've lost some magicka. So that's hurt my DPS too. And now I'm magicka shield limited. But you know, this is the tank, so yeah, if my shield's 3k smaller, but I've got 10k more health, and that's good. And 10k more healing. Saving my ultimate for this the next fight's one that always on magicka builds gives me troubles. It never gave me troubles on stamina builds. And maybe I'm doing something wrong, but all those ads are killing me. Until I can get that, once the ads are down, it's not a problem. Now here I'll probably swap it, and I mean I could be testing it. We'll see. If I switch gear to the offensive gear, it means I'm testing if you can just burn down the ads real fast and just make sure you do things right. But Okay, so I'm switching foods here. I think I was kind of playing with the foods. If I use the blue food, that is boost your health and boost your magicka, then I'm going to get a bigger shield. I'm going to be stamina limited. Sometimes I use the blue food and drink the tri-stat pots, so if I get in trouble I got some stamina. Sometimes I use them both, and if I get in trouble I just run in a circle. I have the ability with this build to, number 3 will make you move fast. You can just move fast in a circle around the mobs and wait for your stamina to come back and just pop shield and heal, and the mobs can't touch you, and you can stay out of the pink while you're doing it and do fine. So, oh, I didn't look and make sure. I would be trying to hit Hurricane before I attack them if I'm using that. Let's see if I know which one of those icons is Undaunted. Okay, I don't know which one's what, so but they're dying. They're dying pretty fast. I wish I'd stop it for a second and show the build. Either I'm on the tanky build or I'm not. And if I hadn't, I rarely do this, but on this one, I had my outfit thing set to show a different weapon that I'm not using. The problem with that is, if I swap weapons, it's going to show a staff when I have a greatsword. So I usually just color the weapons and then take the actual weapon off it. But I thought these, I don't know, the PTS, I don't know how to morph a weapon to look different. And I thought the PTS weapons look terrible. I mean, not PTS, but the weapons they give you. They give you all this gold gear, which for me, I don't have any problems. I do start to run into some limits if I'm just gold and everything. Or if I'm playing stamina, I'll tend to be making heavy armor and great swords. And I tend to be limited on gold metal pieces. Okay, I'm silenced now, but it's not a big deal. All I have to do is pay attention and block him. And I'm tanky enough that I think I remember not being too panicked about this, so I must be in that tanky mode. Yeah, I can actually tank all those ads, and they're not gonna bot. I mean, I must have no spell resistance or something. You know, I didn't put a lot into elemental damage on my championship points. So could have been their fire was her. She's not a vampire, so. Okay, that time I let him hit me, but you know, we got a pool of 30k health and at least a 15k shield. I forget, the shield did go down some, but I've got so much healing when I go to the back bar. I'm getting 10k healing when I go to the back bar. So I don't know. I didn't test it to see if my pet's getting it, because some of these builds I get so tanky, but the pet's not getting the healing. So so I blocked it, and then I took the block down. I think I wanted to hit a shield or something. Okay, so I've run out of magicka because I'm not heavy attacking. I'm blocking, and I'm not putting that that front bar number 4. I need to put that on some people to get some magicka. But this is the only time I've seen my magicka bar go down. And let's see, a heavy attack, it goes up pretty fast, and I'm not drinking my pots either, so it could be going up pretty fast. So, yeah, and I think this is a tank. I think I ran the tanky build, and then after this I said, okay, we'll go on the offensive build, but I'm not going to use the Thrassain Stranglers, because that seems, I really don't want a 10k shield and 20k of health. That's 30 versus 50k of shields and health. I'm just counting in my main stat. There's auxiliary shields, but I'm using it as my metric, just my health and Hardened Ward. They're always there on every bar. They don't have cooldowns. I've got enough magicka to keep those up infinitely. I was testing, not this build, a different build, but similar build of just running around in my house and spamming run around fast and then spam shields and then spam coming back and then spam shield over and over. It was spam on one bar switch shield and then spam minor force and run fast on the other one, and just going back and forth with it so I keep the run fast up, like and if I was, I mean, it was lowering my magicka but not very quickly, and if I drank pots it was very slow, so I could do that for, I don't think I could do it infinitely, but I could do it for minutes. So okay, so that was a hard fight. I think I've got a video of her fighting this in a build that is, I forgot what it is. I've got so many builds going. It was all light armor. It was in the Winter's Respite and the, I forgot what was on the front bar. Usually I try to get something magicka on one bar and something health to balance it out. But like, if you didn't want to double bar it, like separate sets on each bar, you would run Necropotence on one bar and you'd run Plague Doctor for health on the other bar, since they're up all the time, and you get mighty big health stats and magicka stats, like 40k health with full clothes, and even on a Nord, and approaching 35 health. But the problem is you can't double bar it to put on 2 more, so it's not as efficient as, or I'm trying to find something as efficient as that. So I'm approaching it efficient in terms of just pulls. There's other benefits. These are given more shields. There's no shield in Necropotence, and there's no spell damage. There's no other. All those are just pure pull settings. And you can't no pants them, because you take it off and you've either lost your 2,500 health or your 20. See, she's doing this no pants. Okay, so I would have thought, I'm talking and I didn't pay attention. So let's go back and see if I changed my gear. I should have changed my gear after this. Yeah, okay. So we just killed him. So we're going to go back. This is the, okay, no Maelstrom. Noble Duelist and Undaunted Weaver 2, which we didn't have on. We didn't have Unweaver 2 on when we were running the tank. We were running this, which is Crimson Twilight, which you have to farm from the dungeon in Castlethorn when this gets released. But I saw Outcast, and there was a lot of material, so you could farm most of it. Just doing the beginning of it, you could probably get your pieces. So I think that could be farmable. He was doing it, so, and it didn't look that tough. Of course, when he does Maelstrom, it doesn't look that tough. But there's a lot of mechanics to learn in Maelstrom. That's why it's tough. There's 6 levels. I mean, there's multiple levels, and there's sub levels, and everyone's got a different mechanic. So, not saying that I'm bad. I just hadn't done it in 2 years, and I don't feel like I remember the main things of it. But, and I don't know if I've done it bad or not. I don't know if I could do it vet or not. Well, I could. You do it long enough, you're gonna learn it. But ESO's gotten. You get championship points so fast, and I've got more than I had then. I've got at least 100 more. Maybe. I mean, I think I was it was a big deal when I got 500 before. When I got to where I could put 120 in a tree, which would be 480. And now I've gone from 480 to 600. So I've got a lot more championship points. Granted, it takes At higher levels, 5 championship points equals 1, but then not always, because then you start putting things in other things that all when you just had a few, but you've maxed out your main stuff. So yeah, so we're on the offensive build here, and she's wearing Lambris here. She's taking off her Ice Heart. She's wearing Lambris here, so she's in full offensive mode. Other than not wearing Thrassain Stranglers, which again, maybe I could try it, but I know I couldn't do the Lambris Twins with it. I don't want to be at 30k. I don't want to be at 30k of shield and health. With him, if I miss a block, I'm dead. Okay, so I'm not any. So I just gotta pay attention. You know, I'm in offensive mode, so I gotta pay attention to my my shields, and so I'm getting low enough there. I switch bars and healed. I probably need to put a shield up, but if I keep the shield up, I think I'm being kind of cocky. I'm not keeping the shield up. I'm just focusing on getting Hurricane up and getting on that second bar and debuffing them and just wiping them down. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how fast he melts here. So that's no longer an overland mob. That's a vet mob who have a lot more health, but even that goes down pretty fast. And with a heavy attack on a Sorc, I don't know if it's any class, but that shot, it's any class. It's a destruction staff trait. You got two mobs standing next to each other and you put damage on them. The mob next to him takes either all the damage or part of it. So it's almost an AoE ability somewhat. But I think they got to be close. It's like a 5-meter radius. Okay, so I think I died here. I don't think I was paying attention and I died, and I rarely die on this guy, but I'm in offensive mode. I just got to pay attention to my shields and health. Can't be 100% on the rotation. Again, that's what I was talking about. You know, when you're very dependent on that shield and when you're very dependent on that shield, and when it goes down, you've got no resistance and no healing, and it's a pet heal, and you got to bring the pet back up. So you hadn't been doing it. It screws up your rotation. So yeah, it's more offensive, but when you screw up your rotation, you're no longer getting down the weakness to force, the minor force, the auxiliary damage that the blockade of all the electricity you see on the ground's putting down. So I don't know. So yes, it is less DPS, but it's not that much less if you can keep a perfect rotation going, and spend a lot less time spamming shields and healing and running in circles. See, I died because I was stupid. I'm not even going to go back and see the mistake I made. Well, the mistake I made is I didn't keep my shield up and my health up. Okay, so I think I checked my gear to make sure I didn't do something stupid, like my gear's not. Or I don't think I did. I think or I'll probably just run in. Okay. So hit the minor force. Hit him. I've lost my ultimate, but it's coming back pretty quick. Sorcs get ultimate. That's not a huge ultimate, that Atronach. And I was using the other Atronach morph, but because it didn't say, it says this one gives slightly longer, or one of them is longer, but it said this one gives more health, but it didn't say how much more, and it's slightly, I think this one's slightly longer, and the other one does more AoE damage, so I was using that. But I bet the other morph, the Atronach, must get killed, because this one, the Atronach, was lasting a long time. So you must get a lot more health. So yeah, and when I get on that heavy build, like here, you see, I've got 100 ultimate I hadn't used. See, I could have dropped that Atronach 2 minutes, a minute. I mean, Okay, I dropped it finally. I need to start practicing using that undo, because I won't say it's a useless ult. I mean, I've only got it slotted to get the block and the toughness, but there are times like a second ago when I died, I could have noticed that everything's down, and just if my panic response was hit that undo, I go back to where I forgot to put the shield on or where I forgot to do a block. So it does have uses. You just got to get in the habit of using it. But it would have me get in the habit of, in a panic situation, checking the bar, getting on that bar, and then hitting it. Then once in there, enough time's gone by, I would have the wherewithal to throw up a shield. And I mean, I have gotten used to these pet builds enough to be able to recover and put up shields and health with coming in from nowhere. Basically, you move away from them quick and do bar swaps and heals between the bar swaps and shield between. Sometimes if the pet's up, it's better to just do a heal and get a shield evaporated, and then finally maybe do one. If you got no health, you've got to put a shield up. But I've come back from 0 health and thrown up a shield and managed to stay shielded long enough to get my health back under lots of damage coming in. So probably should be, see, we've forgotten about our ultimate again. So we should be using that. We're on a boss that we could probably use an ultimate on. So I wonder if there's a mechanic if you kill those to stop all those ads from coming in. What if we kill these guys on the outside? I think would they just keep coming in or not? I don't know the actual mechanic of stopping all these ads from spawning. This usually isn't a very tough fight, so if you kill him, but I do get behind killing the ads, but I kill him so quickly it doesn't matter. But I'm looking at all those ads on the outside. There's a couple of ads on the outside that run in. So I wonder if you kill them then, if they can't run in, then I don't know. I don't know the best mechanic for it. Seems to me just stay in the middle and keep AoE down. Like on a Stam Sorc, I would have 3 AoEs down. On my Stam Sorcs, I have a lot of AoE down, so my chance of crit is pretty high. It's going to crit every second if I keep Hurricane up and two AoEs down, because I don't want to miss 1, 2, 3 seconds of crit heal. And a Venom Arrow. I've got a Venom Arrow, but that's not a AoE. Or if I miss one of those, I miss a Venom Arrow, or I miss the bow AoE takes a second. You got to try to, if you're not using a mouse from weapon, I try to do it doing a bar swap. If you use a mouse from weapon, you lose your mouse from weapon benefit if you do it during a bar swap. Maybe you wouldn't lose it if you ran 2 bows that were mouse from weapons, but I've never tested that. I've just heard that, and I've tested it, and you don't seem to be getting the extra damage from it. So you might as well not be using a mouse from weapon. So on that, you put that down and just wait for it to be done. I don't think you have to wait for it to be done, but it takes a while to shoot off. And then you do the rest of your rotation of putting down crit surge and whatever you have to do on that, which I don't really like. I'd rather just do that during the bar swap. Okay, so he's about dead. Dang ghosts, yeah, those things. I mean, you just have the wherewithal to put your shield up and stuff after you get unfeared. Trying to do the. There's not. If you get in close to him, there's not much reaction time to move away from the ghost. If you stay far away, you just move to the side when the ghosts come in. I guess if you had a ranged DPS, you could stay back, but I'm doing more damage when I'm up close, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so he's almost dead. So pop the shield. Did I pop? Yeah, I popped the heal and the shield. There we go. Not using my, not got Minor Prophecy or Minor Sorcery because I hadn't drank a pot. I need to get one of those add-ons that tells you need to drink a pot. But, and you know, you could run this build with overlaying gear and cheap spell pots and put on your pants. The no pants part of it's just kind of a demonstration of, you know, you would have 2k more health and magicka. It should make your shield bigger. So whatever you lose, you would have less stamina if you didn't have the try enchants. You probably balance your health and magicka to get the biggest shield size. And you know, maybe I ought to I don't want to run Maelstrom with it, because Maelstrom with less gear, I mean not Maelstrom, vet dungeon, maybe if you find an easier vet dungeon that doesn't have such a pain in the butt final boss. I mean, if you're over geared, this is the easiest I've ever ran him final boss, but I don't know what my times are like, but it was definitely easy. It's usually not easy. Some days I block well, some days I don't, but I was almost getting a rhythm. Maybe I've ran it so many times that I'm starting to get, you know, you have to block them early, but if you block them too early, you're just spending all your time not putting out damage, A, and B, when you're sitting in a block, you're getting 0 stamina recovery. And so you let your stamina get down. You're not watching your pots. So then if you let your stamina run out, you got to run around in circles. If you're a magicka thing, popping shields while your stamina comes back. If you're a stamina build, you got a heavy attack. I usually have to heavy attack anyway if I'm stamina. Well, I'm heavy attacking here, but you know, range, you can... I mean, this is a lot easier heavy attack than the stamina heavy attack is. The only thing, also another thing, is on these heavy attacks, sometimes you start channeling this is a channeled, I think it's a channeled heavy attack, and you start it, and then you want to block, and it doesn't get out of the channel, and you've hit block, but it doesn't switch over to, and you miss the block. Most of the blocks you see me miss were not mistimed or anything. I mean, there were a few where I didn't get the block up, but most of them by far were, it was stuck in that channel, in that lightning. That is one thing about it. But even then, it wasn't. And it wasn't the consequences of getting knocked down. My health was hardly touched with all those shields, and then I got that healing. I'm swapping bars to put. I got a good rotation going. So every time I swap bars, I get a 10k heal. So here and so when things get easy like that, when you are getting your rotation, you can start. You can stop looking down at the bottom to see what bar you're on, and you can start focusing on what's happening around you. Are they doing a heavy attack? Are you in pink? Did they just telegraph this? or you every time get knocked down here, where if you just I'd started doing a little bit of that in that fight, was like getting my rhythm down for a good rotation of every boss would kind of change it a little bit by, you know, that maybe they put out a bunch of pink you got to run out of. Well, you can run out of it when you get to the back, then reapply your heals and shields and buffs and time it with what they're doing. Where if you're behind with everything, you're not situationally aware of what's happening. So I start this fight, and I died on purpose because, you know, this is a unique fight. Your AoE is only going to help you half the time because he's going to move out of it. And I was thinking, instead of wear the Lambris, I'm going to wear the... so I'll just skip forward. Instead of wear the Lambris, let's wear... So here I'm letting him kill me. Let's wear the... this is where I finally decide. So I'm just going to add Maw the Inferno here. I'm not going to make you sit and watch me expand the columns. See, I'm expanding the columns and changing the font size so it's small enough that that I can move it to see the skills, and I can move it to see the gear I'm wearing. If I was to expand it completely and have a big font, it would cover. It's not so critical it covers this up, but when it covers up the skills come about right there. Why do we have Oh, I had to hit reload UI. Yeah, when I changed the columns. So I probably ended up with the font. It's a little bit small. I could optimize it, but it'll show more skills. I don't know if I went with 3 wide or 4 wide, but oh, we're in the fight now. So okay, well, y'all seen this fight a lot. So, well, guys, it was a fast fight. If this is so fast, let's watch it. This is 10 seconds removed. We moved about 2 minutes into the fight, so we're at 9 minutes. We're at 9 minutes, so yeah, I could get a good rotation going on him. I'm so tanky. I don't have to worry about anything till he starts putting out the flame path. You know, in the beginning, all that's going to do, if you stand in it and don't block, it's going to knock you down. This doesn't do anything to, with this being, it wouldn't do much to me before, but it does nothing at all. So yeah, I got that thing hitting him. See, I switched him all the Inferno because he'll keep following him around and hitting him. You know, if I was using Ice Heart, he'd just move out of the Ice Heart. So this worked pretty well for him. That's a good ultimate for things that move around. If I find this is easy enough, I wonder if instead of wearing Ice Heart, if I didn't need that shield, it was easy enough I might not need the Ice Heart shield, that I could just use him and he'll be doing damage on someone all the time. So yeah, look at that health go down. This has just been so he's going to be dead in 2 minutes. We'll see if he's dead in 2 minutes. It was 9:15 when it started. Two hours and 9:15, but I've been skipping through a lot of this thing. I make it in one big recording because I don't know how to stitch together little recordings yet. I don't have the software to do that, but I'll get that eventually. And I'll up the quality of these videos, but for now I've got so much content I got to get out there, so many builds that are really good builds. They're fun builds. They're hybrid builds. They're no pants builds. My measuring stick is if I can go in and kill Crypt of Hearts with no pants, but I'll start doing other dungeons. I think I've got enough builds here. I can start doing a few other dungeons because this is going to get boring to you guys. I've talked about the mechanics of this. There's about 2 or 3. He will sometimes run to the very back, so it's better to get him going across. He'll run towards you and get him going across, not down the long hall, because he'll go down here and get stuck somewhere in the fight, and you'll have to end it. Oh, he got stuck too, so that made that just super fast. He got stuck in that, which is the first time in a long time I've gotten so lucky that he got stuck. But anyway, yeah, so I think I'm in the offensive gear now. I think I'm still in the offensive gear. I just switched. Yeah, I thought about it. There's nothing that he does. Yeah. There's nothing he does that can hurt you, so I stayed in the offensive gear. I don't think I switched over the defensive gear until I think the second to last mini boss. I may have died due to a mistake, and so I said, well, the next when I do the Lambris Twins, I'll be in full gear. So I may have switched it then, or I may have just said I won't make that mistake and do it. We'll see. Not this fight, but the one that's at a doorway. It's... If you don't burn them down fast, the ads can get you. This fight is easy. This fight is just stay out of the pink, but the pink doesn't hurt you much. It doesn't do it at CC. I think occasionally he picks you up and you just got to break free. But it is, you just move to the side out of the pink and just keep your rotation going. He doesn't mess your rotation up. He may pick me up once and I have to break free. So yeah. So I think I even forget about my ultimate here because it's such an easy fight, and I got so much DPS with this. I'm used to being more tanky and not having this much DPS. I mean, I did some tests. I was getting upwards of 20 DPS, where most of my tank builds I'm getting 5 to 10. Now, I don't know if this I hadn't done a test recently, but I don't know if this is doing 10 or not. But I don't know if it's doing 20. I know it's doing 10 plus. I mean, it's dependent on ultimates. It's dependent on so many things. You know, I could have... I saw 20 on one, but I could have been over magicka to how I'd usually run it. I'm going to let y'all watch this and grab a cup of coffee, okay? I'll be back in 2 seconds. Okay, this is the first time I've done this fight and I've remembered to go kill this boss. I mean, I usually remember before I get to the final boss, but I usually run the wrong way and then have to come back here. But this time I remembered you got to kill him before you can kill the rest of the mini bosses. You just can't fight the Lambris Twins if you don't kill this guy. This one's easy. He's a mini boss. I'm probably that Maw the Inferno works well for these. I mean, Ice Heart too. You'd be standing next to him. Ice Heart. Let's see. Ice Heart does. What's that? Every 6 seconds you do 5k damage, so that's about 1,000 a second. I think they just changed. They just balance all the sets and monster stuff. And I've been noticing when I look at stuff and do the damage of the damage sets, minus whatever traits they give you, but just the damage of the proc like Craig's does something every so many seconds, and Iceheart does something every so many seconds. And the small, it seems to come in at 2,500 a second DPS. You know, so they must be using some formula, because I was watching, they added 30k 30 damage. You know, you'd have something that does 2,036 healing, and they added 36 more healing, or took off 40 of a 3,000. You know, something that's completely insignificant. And I know I was watching some reviews by some streamers and YouTube creators, and they're saying it's such a waste of time for them to be doing such a small change, and it's probably 5 hours of work. But I'm sure they're using spreadsheets and calculations, and hopefully their approval process for change, I mean, it's probably a lot automated. Hopefully. I mean, I've worked in software, and actually automating stuff, maybe not. But hopefully it is. So, but I'm sure they're using a spreadsheet to say everything's got to be this number. See, yeah, I think just one time, I don't know what happened there. I just died. I'm curious to see why I died so fast. Did I just completely did I just run in and not shield? Sometimes I run in and put stuff down and then don't do the, yeah, I ran in and didn't shield. And I probably forgot to shield, yeah. And I just kept going without shielding. Okay, that was just, because I was like, I don't remember this being that hard. So I just forgot to shield. Like I usually, not usually, but sometimes I probably need to pop up a shield. It only lasts 6 seconds, so if you're set up, if you spend too much time setting up, your beginning things you set up are going to be gone by the time you get. Yeah, so I'm checking my gear still good, because I thought, oh, maybe my charge, the only effect on that gear would be, see what traits, I'd lose the shock damage, and I don't have a, normally I would run absorb magicka, but I'm running I'm running shock on the front and the backs. The back bar is doing weapon damage on the offensive build. On the defensive build, is putting up a shield. That maybe that shield. I never. It used to be such a small shield. It's called Hardened Trait or something. It used to be such a small shield, but now I noticed it was 4K, and if I'm infused, then it's 5K. So maybe that's why I'm so tanky on the back bar. Like, I just made this morning, so. Did I do this whole build this morning? No, I did the build yesterday. The first part. Today I made it a bar swapping to where I modified it more. Yeah, yesterday I just took his basic build with the Maelstrom staff and changed it to a pet build, and then did my chance to balance it for the shielding size. But then I made it so Undaunted Weaver runs on one bar, and then Noble Duelist on the other bar, and because they were good sets to do that for. And then and by doing that, it lets me add 2 trainee pieces in, which, you know, that's not that big of an advantage. And it gives you the ability to run no pants. But that's not a big of an advantage on the current version you're running. But when that trainee turns into one trait, one buff per item, instead of the first item gives you nothing and the second item gives you 1 buff, you're getting 2 buffs now. So there's a big advantage. So if you pick out sets that the proc helps you on the other bar, I guess you're gaining 1 trait, because you're always losing a 4th trait, unless a 4th trait's something that carries. Most 4th traits aren't ever going to be something that's going to help you on the other bar, but you're gaining 1 trait, so it's 1 magicka. It's not huge, but it's a little benefit. So how did I die here? We're not going to go back and look at it. We got to get through this. I made some mistake. Maybe I put on the heavy gear. Maybe I decided here Maybe I died and decided it's time to put on the tough man gear. Let's just see how we died. Okay, we're going back 10 seconds. So I'm shielding, keeping my health up. Shielding, keeping my health up. Shielding, keeping my health up. But my health's not up all the way, so it's getting through some of my shields. I bet I forgot to shield. Yeah, I just forgot to shield. No? Okay. I can come back from a lot of damage. I just didn't shield, that's all. Okay. So I'm curious if after this, think that's just getting a little bit, I want to go to the more tanky gear. I mean, you know, I'm saying, I'm putting out way, normally when I run this, I'm in a build that's making 5 to 10, at best 10k DPS with a perfect rotation. 5 with a little bit messed up, and then, I mean a little bit messed up on a target dummy, 6k. And then if the mobs are messing you up and you just spending half your time just staying alive, then I'm sure that 5k goes down to 3k. and maybe here, if this is a 15k DPS with a perfect rotation, then yeah, I'm shielding and healing. But if I'm doing it perfectly, you know, it's going to be 10k. If I'm messing up, it could be 7k. So it's still higher DPS. It's about double the DPS of my normal build. So yeah, I'm dying a little bit, making mistakes, but you know, it gives me the option of, hey, this boss is tough, I need to tank up, this one's not. You know, where my other builds, the only tank, non-tank part of it is, are you going to wear Ice Heart or an offensive set? And I don't have Ice Heart yet because nobody's gone out and done it with me. And my other family account that my daughter uses, I got a level 44 character. When they get to be 50, they're going to stand on that pressure plate while I get that Ice Heart helmet. But anyway, I don't have that yet. Okay, so I'll probably put on their offensive set now. I wonder if I've talked enough with a pause that I've lost the time, that I skipped through stuff. And now the first boss on the next, well, we'll talk about the next fight when it happens, but I will say this, I forgot to take my pants off for it, and I spent some time convincing myself that I still could have done it that easily with pants off, but I forgot to. I think I switched my gear. We didn't see me switch. Okay, I died twice. I decided this is we're not going to see if I messed up or not. I think I've decided that I'm going to mess up sometimes. And I say I mess up, but he is stunning me. He is doing he does have a heavy attack or something that does do some sort of CC on you. You need to be blocking that. So, and maybe I'm not at the point yet when there's a lot of ads around that I see. I've noticed on one of the solo boss fights at the other ad, I'm starting to see when he does a CC ability. Yep. So we're going to go to the defensive set. So let's hurry up and do it. I mean, I don't know if I want to make y'all white. We're going to go to that, and we're going to wear Ice Heart, and I'm going to forget to take their pants. When I click that, I had made a no pants, so it put their pants on. Yep. So she's a little more tanky. I'm trying to show a no pants build. I may upload. See, I don't know how to fix YouTube. There is a way to edit YouTube content, but you can't make the whole thing bigger. So somebody had a video on that. So I may be able to replace this final fight. Not this fight, but the fight after it. I could replace them both with no pants. Okay. So we know what she's going to... I was concerned enough with this that I may have replaced... There's enough ads there that I could probably use another AoE. And then I'll probably add to that bar I add to that bar an AoE, or maybe I don't. I don't know. That bar, I'm talking about dressing room, but okay. So we'll see how much easier this is now. Yeah. I didn't. I wish this thing had a. I wish there was a way to skip forward 10 seconds. Okay, so be it. Okay, I should drop the ultimate. I have an ultimate. I didn't drop it. I should have at least done it before I entered the fight, but combination of, but I'm getting all that healing. You see that red when she switches bars, that red will go out. She gets all that healing. That she's no longer so dependent on getting a shield up. I mean, look, see, you know, with all those shields, look at them stack up. I got the Ice Heart helmet on now. The back bars give me a shield. You'll see times where I'm talking about when this is just a small bit of red. Okay, there's no shield up there. There's about 50k. I don't know. It's not linear. It's not like if this number's 30 and the shields is twice as big, it's 60. I don't think it's linear, but it is. At times you'll see this go down to, you can't even see the red. I've got so much shielding up. See, if I switch to the back bar every 8 seconds and put, of course, I don't have Hurricane you know, I'm no longer getting a buff off Hurricane. But Hurricane is helping my resistances, so I'm still trying to keep it up. See, okay, there I've got tons. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Got 4 times as much. It says I've got 4 times as much shield as health. I don't think I have that, but I think I do have Hardened Ward and the block shield 5k, and Ice Heart could be up. There's 5k, and I could have 5k on the back bar shield. Yeah. So there's 15k added to the Hardened Ward, so that's double the shielding, not 4 times the shielding. Something happens where I saw that thing, you couldn't even see the health. I had so much shielding. And I'm getting a heal. So now it's just down to him. I didn't do it then, but I'm probably trying to get my rotation. I'm probably trying to DPS him down. I thought I saw this thing go real small once. But anyway, yeah, so just block that if your health's full. See, she's got 35k of health. Oh, that's because I'm wearing pants. So I would have had 32k of health. And the pants are adding 2k of magicka. So we'll say with all that bastion, I could be getting as much as 50% off it. So I could have 1,000 more shield and 2,000 more health in this fight. And 2,000 magicka. Magicka's going to contribute about half to your damage. So 30 versus 32k is 2/3. It's about 7%, and it's half your. So I could have 3% more damage. So I'm doing this with pants on, but it's giving me 3% more damage. And then and so I switched the AoE to. I know I remembered to do that. I'm going to use my hand. Okay, I'm overdubbing this over my previous because I lost audio. So, again, this is my Death Star build, and I'm trying to get to the right spot where I should come in on it. This is going to be just the very end. Athor bugged out, and we'll show real quick him bugging out. And see, I had that fight. He's down to, I keep reshooting it of him dying with just a little left. So if you'll just watch it closely, see, this is, he's at 600 health, and so this is the first time I killed, and then he bugged out right then. You saw him disappear, and it started over. I'm not sure if I show it again, but I've decided redoing this. I'm gonna get some video editing software. It's too hard to do one big long thing and get everything right perfectly. And then if I break it into segments, there's neither a YouTube tool nor a Windows tool that can do something as simple as join videos together, so I'm gonna have to buy one. So okay, I'll come back to commenting on the fight. Let me adjust my audio because I had it up for earlier, so we should hear the background fight, and seems my voice is coming in good, and maybe I should have the, no, I need to mute it. I need to keep this up, okay, because the background is just the game. You're hearing the game, yeah. Since there's no more audio from this video, it lost the audio. I must have muted the mic or something, I'm not sure, or OBS messed up, one of the two. But as I was saying earlier, this fight, you know, optimally my rotation is front bar, hit number 3, hit number 4, gives me minor force and gives me weakness to elements. Be aware of my shield, pop shield if I need to. Go to the back bar, and then block when I need to. Go to the back bar, pop ground AoE, and then hit Hurricane. Hurricane will get my resistances probably 2500, somewhere around there, pretty close. And then, so yeah, so that's the rotation. So, so yeah, I've got a big health pool, 3300. I'm wearing the big armor. I do comment, I forgot to take my pants off, but I figured out the pants are adding, let me see my notes here. The pants are adding 1.3 health, and the pants are adding 1.4 shield. So they're giving me a total of 2.7 of health and shields, 50k in health and Hardened Ward, and there's another 15k of miscellaneous shields, 3 other shields stacking, so it's 65k. So I doubt that 3k, that's 5%. I don't come anywhere near 3k of dying. And then it added, I didn't write it down, but about 1,000 magicka, I don't know, about 1,000. Anywhere between 500 and 1,500. It's only one piece, so I would think it would be 500 magicka. And 500 magicka is in the noise level and damage. Maybe it added 1,000 magicka, but you know, if it was 1,000, 2,000, it's, even if it was 2,000, that would be 2,000 is 7%, and magicka's contributing about 50% to your damage, so it'd be a 3% damage increase I got here. So I easily could have done this with no pants. Easily. And when I get my video editing software, I may replace this section to a no pants fight, but for now we're just going to go with it. I'm going to get this uploaded tonight, and I have people that want to see my content. Okay, so you know, there's a line of, you have to block Athor early, but if you block too early, you know, you're sitting there for 5 seconds blocking to get a final block in. So you're doing no stamina recovery during that. Also, if every time he swings, you block it, you're using up your stamina for the block, and you're using your stamina if you do it so early. So all that time you've got 0 health recovery. Let me try to keep my cursor out of here so you don't see that timeline thing. So, you know, since I'm so tanky here, like, even if he knocks me down, if I'm at shields and health, even if I don't have my shield, or a lot of my shield's gone, if I'm at health or the opposite, even if he knocks me down, the mad mage in the middle, his rolling fire isn't killing me or hurting me. Even if I go into one of those little pink things for a second, even if Athor casts one of those pink things right on top of me, normally those are all one-shot things as you get less sustain, health sustain, shield sustain, but I don't seem to have that problem. So I'm not feeling very threatened, so I'm getting my rotation much better now. So with that rotation in better, well, I'm getting it in better, so my DPS is up. You know, and so there. I'm putting in the block later, so my have no sustained problems. I got plenty of stamina. I think once I saw my stamina maybe get low, and I had drank a pot, so I drank a pot. Sometimes in these fights, like I did one earlier, and she was tanky enough, but she didn't have enough sustain, so I'd have to break off the fight and run in circles, popping shields and health, while my stamina came up till the health pot came off cooldown, or not the health pot, the tripod. I do switch. This fight is using up enough stamina that I will switch it when I'm fighting Athor to try food and try pots. I think I said earlier I was running the spell power pots that give you major sorcery and major profit to up your crit and up your weapon damage, which I'll switch to after we kill Athor. And again, I was cheated the first fight, so I just put, there's no reason to even show that fight. I was killing him faster. It did take me the very beginning of this fight a second to get over being cheated out of it, but it's the second time they cheated me out of it. The first time I did this fight on a different character, it cheated me out of it. I don't think I've never won this fight. Back when I played ESO before, I never won this fight. But I'm good enough now to beat it on vet level. I have a few more championship points. I'm much better at tanking, at blocking. Again, upon returning, I'm learning more about tanking. Before I was a Nord, a good class for a tank. But I moved when I was damaged. I moved, or I dodged, or I out-healed it, or I did something. If I couldn't out-heal something. And then, so, I'm learning that, you know. I'm learning how to do that. So, I'm not the best, but it's good to have a forgiving build. That way, you can focus on learning the mechanics. And this is forgiving, very forgiving. You know, we switched over to we've lost our Undaunted Unweaver, which when we hit Hurricane, puts 1600 on our heavy attack. So, now we've got the 1800 when we heavy attack on the front bar, but we don't have that Hurricane boosting that. But it's definitely worth the extra. She's got so much resistance. That back bar, I don't know if I talked about that, but when we see her switch bars and you see red, she's going to get a 10k heal. And first time I've done this, I put Hardened Ward as an enchant, so she's also getting a 5k. When I do damage on the back bar, she gets a 5k shield, so it's lots of sustain on this. Gives me an option with or without Ice Heart to really, if I got really tough content. So yeah, you saw that rolling fire go through me. It just took down my shield. That's all. So I don't even feel like I got to move. So this you see that red? That's gonna do 8k, 10k heal on her, and 10k damage too to Athor. So it is a little bit offensive. So yeah, we got him down to 1 million health pretty quick. You know, the only Sorc execute is Mage's Wrath, and it sometimes if there's lots of mobs, it's a decent. It becomes a trade-off. It can be kind of a multiple mob thing because it'll damage the things next to it. But if you know, if I was to wait for him to get 20%, it's only going to help me with 1 million health, and by then the fight's pretty close to over. So I can see a lot at the end of the tunnel. So I'm probably just going to keep, except in niche situations, number 4 on the front bar, which is I think it's Elemental Drain. It gives me back magicka and it weakens him. So he's down to 750. You know, not so overwhelmed with the mechanics of the fight that I missed my ultimate. I seem to be dropped in around 2,000. So just as I said that, yeah, I dropped it right then. See, that's good. You know, it's kind of disheartening to look down at your ultimate and you let it get up to twice as much as you need it when you're in a really hard fight. Keep my potions going to help my damage. Well, it's not going to help it here. It's just going to help my sustain. Okay, there I got down to, I think it was 10.5k. I don't know how much shield I had. I'm not going to pause it to see because we need to finish this video. It's getting too long. So he's down to 500,000 health, 400,000. So, yep. So, you know, I don't know if I really reiterated this. This is the Dark Star build in Star Wars. I think the Dark Star had a death beam that could destroy planets. That's her heavy attack. It's a death beam. So that's why I named it that. It's a pet build. That's another thing. It can be run with no pants. So that forces, if I'm going to run no pants, I need to have the monster set and the 2 gear sets form 10 traits, so you're going to be forced into different set weapons on each bar. And then you can run it no pants, so you guys can put pants on it and gain a bigger pool. You can also, if you run it with that, you can wear a mythic item. So this build has 3 modes. It's got a super offensive mode where you wear the Stranglers, Thrassain Stranglers, which build stacks, and each one stack gives you 23 weapon damage. It removes 120 health, and it okay, so he's already dead. So this is the final part of the fight, and we're 2:22 minutes in. So we have about, I think, 10 or 15 more minutes. On the stand fight, his health's going to be at half now, or 2/3, because I will have been dropping. Why did I rewind that? Why am I showing that again? I just killed him. Okay, again, I said I'm overdubbing this. Maybe I'm trying to show I didn't even see him die, but I don't know why I'm pausing and restarting this. Is my recording working right? Why is nothing happening? Okay, we're just skip forward 30 seconds. Okay. I'm just going to let y'all miss that portion of the fight. There's nothing that happened that's critical. It's the same thing. So normally the last part of when I'm fighting a mad mage, this is very controllable. The only thing is how fast you do it, but if you don't need to do it fast, you can stay on the outs. If you're not if you have either a bow or a staff, you know, she had 4 shock, but she's got that good heavy attack. But it's only getting a bonus when she's close. So when she's far away, it's not getting a bonus. But even then, I can put weakness to element on him, and elemental drain, number 4, and I can put decidic skill, which gives me minor force, number 3. And then on the back bar, I can put oh, here I've accidentally hit escape and gone into the menu, but it's nothing critical. Sometime during that, probably the part I skipped forward because we were just sitting there doing nothing. I switched my food to a blue health and magicka food. I don't know which one. There's about 4 recipes. Just go to the market and buy whichever one's cheaper. It's a CP 150 food. It's not too. It's a one-time buy, and it's not too expensive. Provisioning so easy to level, and the hirelings will get you all the materials you need. Okay, I got down to 11K there. Not paying attention because. So anyway, I'm running, and then the potion I'm using is again the spell crit one, and the spell damage one. I think a few times I accidentally said weapon damage. It is. I'll correct myself. It's spell damage. It is cornflower, which is kind of expensive. Lady Smock, which isn't too expensive, and water Cynthia. I don't quite remember the pronunciation of it, but all 3 of those combined will give you major prophecy and major sorcery. You can't afford it, you can run tri-stab food. It's just gonna, you know, there really is no place on this bar. I mean, if you want to do a pet build, if you want to be a non-pet build, you can take the pet off and put crit surge on, and you can try to work in inner outer light. You could put inner light where I have the number 6 skill. My numbering, the way it works on my mouse, it's just better if I put ultimate on 5, but it's the 5th position over number 6. I have one of the bound aegises, and it gives me 8% magicka, and it counts as a sorcerer skill, so it's giving me 2% spell damage. So that seems to make more sense than putting outer light on it. Well, we could test that. Oh, sorry, I paused it accidentally. So yeah, we've got him down. We're not halfway through the fight, but you know, I'm basically, as the fight goes on, I'm seeing he's not doing a lot of damage to me. As long as I'll keep refreshing my shield in the rotation. So I'm trying to come in, hit 3 for major force, hit 4 to keep weakness elements on him, and then when I get back here, hit hurricane when he forces me out by that expanding pink circle. Get hurricane on there and get the ground AoE. Places for improvement are, I could use that major force, put that in the rotation at the time it gives me speed so I can move back quickly. I could roll dodge out. I probably got enough stamina. By not using the food and potions that help your stamina, you know, my stamina is lowered by a quarter. It was right around 20. Now it's barely 15. So I gotta be, if it's not a stamina fight, but this isn't really a stamina fight, so I don't need that stamina. So I could probably roll dodge as much as I want, because I'm only gonna do it every 10 minutes. I mean, every once in a rotation when I leave the circle. You know, I have lost this fight when I just quit paying attention to my health and shields and where I am. And so although I'm being aggressive, I could have been more aggressive, but I don't want to spend 15 minutes fighting Athor. I didn't time it here, but I think it was 11 minutes, 12 minutes, I don't know. And then this fight's 12, 13 minutes, I'm not sure. We can watch it. I'll put down times for it when I am going to put down times for this video so you can skip over the parts that you don't want to see. If you want to see the boss fight, if you want to see me discuss the build, if you want me to discuss the Thrassain Stranglers, you can do that. So I'll put down times so we can tell. So recording, all the audio looks good. Okay, I'm just double checking. I'm recording all this with OBS, and I'm just using Windows Media Player with recording off that screen. So unfortunately I've got a big time bar, but in the future I'm just gonna make little pieces or break the pieces up and get some video editing software. This is too much trouble to try to overdub, you know, and then make separate audio tracks so I can get this a little more professional. But you know, I'm learning this. This is my third YouTube video. I think the first one I used a certain piece of software for a year, and my year thing on it's run out. It's cost me $70 to get it full time. Wasn't crazy about that software, but I guess I can learn to use it. So, because it's definitely better than doing it 3 times. The video I made about 3 weeks ago, I overdubbed it. I recorded it 3 times, various things not working right. And this one, I'm spending twice as much. I'm doing it twice. So I spent all day doing I've got tons of content of raw video footage that I need to comment on. That I need to get the YouTube video made faster. So it's going to take me 6 hours of active time plus YouTube upload time, which I can be doing something else about uploads. And I got to find a faster way to do this. So I guess I'll have to buy that software. But yeah, so again, the rotation is right now the only heavy attack buff she has is when she's in close. She's going to get 1800 bigger heavy attack. So come in close, get the buffs down for it, which is the elemental drain, key 4 you see on that. And I'm sorry that, never mind. And then get the weakness, get that major force down with the Sigil order number 3. And then back here, just put in the hurricane. It's not helping your damage. I mean, it is helping your damage, but it's no longer giving you 1600 heavy attack damage, but it's still giving you resistance. And she's probably sitting around 2200 resistances. So you throw that in, she's sitting at 2800 resistances. And I think the limit for resistances is 3200. So she's pretty tanky. Throw in that when she switches to back bar. There's going to be, over the next 8 seconds, 10k of healing coming in. So that's 1250 a second. So that's like, you may have to hit the pet heal sometimes, but you don't have to keep hitting it all the time trying to keep that damn pet alive. And keep yourself filled up. So, and I think that's healing the pet. Oh, in dungeons, pets can't die. So that is one thing about the pet. I didn't realize that. Dungeons and trials and something else, pets don't die, which is good. So we're at the last 300,000. I think it will hurt you if you're in all that fire there, or either in it for long. You definitely don't want to be in it with no shields and health down. And with a more like a 20k one-hit health pool and no shields, it probably one-shot you. But that rolling fire is just taking down my shield and maybe barely touching my health. And then as soon as I switch bars, I get 10k more health. So, you know, I'm really just popping the shield. I don't have to worry about the healing. Keep up with that. So 21, he's going down right here. I think I kept my ultimate up pretty good. So yeah. So in conclusion here, you know, I discussed the pants. It was, yeah, I didn't do it no pants. I wore pants during this. I'm sorry, I forgot to take them off. I may edit it later, but we'll see. But that only added 1.3 health of a big health pool, 35,000, and 1.4 shield, and I don't know the magicka. I think it's, all I see is a health enchant that I'm getting out of those pants, and a tri-stat, which would be 500 magicka. So I don't think that's significant difference. I think I could have easily done this just easily with no pants. So anyway, so I'm going to pause this and sign out. This video is very long. I'll say again, it's the Dark Star build, because it has the Beam of Death on your heavy attack, and it has another thing that this build is I've worked in with dressing room, to have a super offensive with Thrash and Stranglers on, or a very offensive with the 2 sets of heavy attack, or when I want to be defensive, I can remove half the heavy attack and just get tanky as hell, as you've seen here. I just did that and didn't even have to pay attention during the build. So thank you. I've enjoyed doing this video for you.